1963, a kitchen in Vine City, Atlanta. Wednesday evening, a woman stands at the stove, cast iron lid in one hand, wooden spoon in the other. Collard greens have simmered since noon. The house smells like ham hock and pepper vinegar. Her daughter does arithmetic at the table. No diet book on the counter, no calorie chart on the fridge, no scale behind the bedroom door. That woman never knew the word metabolism. She did not need to. Everything her family needed to stay full and lean was already in that kitchen. Then it vanished. 15 foods, every one of them gone or forgotten. Every one of them smarter than anything on the grocery shelf today. Number 15, pot liquor. The leftover broth from a pot of slow-cooked collard greens, turnip greens, or mustard greens. Drunk straight from a coffee mug or sopped with a heel of cornbread. A bunch of collard greens at the Piggly Wiggly, 12 cents. A ham hock from the meat counter, 19 cents a pound. The greens cooked low and slow for 3 to 4 hours with salt pork and a splash of apple cider vinegar. The broth turning dark green, almost black, at the bottom of the pot. Tasting like iron and smoke and earth all at once. A cup of it before supper, and nobody at the table asked for seconds. That broth captured a massive amount of water-soluble nutrients like folate and vitamin C, complementing the iron and calcium left in the greens. Modern juice bars now sell green broth for $9 to $12 a cup. In 1962, it was called what was left in the pot. Nobody threw it out because nobody could afford to waste what the greens already paid for. And the thing that sopped up every last drop of that pot liquor was just as important as the broth itself. Number 14, buttermilk cornbread with no sugar. Cornbread made with stone-ground yellow cornmeal, buttermilk, lard, 1 egg, and nothing sweet. Baked in a cast iron skillet that had been heating in the oven until it was almost smoking. Quaker yellow cornmeal in the paper sack, 15 cents for 2 pounds. A tablespoon of lard melting in the hot skillet, the sizzle the second the batter hit the iron. The crust that formed on the bottom, golden brown and almost crisp enough to shatter between your teeth. The tang of the buttermilk inside, no frosting, no glaze. Cornbread was not cake. It was bread. It had a job to do, and it did it without apology. The moment sugar entered cornbread was the moment it stopped being food and became dessert. Big Mama's cornbread had no sugar because sugar cost money and bread was not supposed to be sweet. That restraint was not poverty. It was the whole point. Some of these meals took all morning. Some took less than 5 minutes and did the same work. Number 13, sardines from the tin. Canned sardines in oil or mustard sauce, eaten on saltine crackers or straight from the can with a fork. King Oscar in the flat rectangular tin with the key on the back. The little metal key that rolled the lid back in a tight silver curl. The salt and oil smell the second the can opened. 2 or 3 fish laid across a premium saltine with a single drop of Louisiana hot sauce. 10 cents a tin in 1964. Complete protein. Omega-3 fatty acids. Calcium from the soft edible bones you could chew without noticing. Vitamin D. A full meal for under 15 cents that a woman could eat standing at the counter between hanging laundry and starting supper. Nobody called sardines a health food. They were poor people food. That label kept them cheap and kept the women who ate them lean and sharp-boned into their 80s. The label was wrong about everything except the price. Number 12, oxtails braised all day. Oxtails slow braised in a heavy pot with onions, garlic, and whatever root vegetables were in the house. Served over white rice with the cooking liquid ladled on top. Oxtails were the cheap cut that nobody in the good neighborhoods wanted. 35 cents a pound at the butcher counter in 1963. browned in a Dutch oven until the fat rendered and the kitchen smelled like Sunday, even on a Thursday. Simmered 4 to 5 hours until the collagen broke down and the sauce turned thick as gravy without a teaspoon of flour. The meat falling off the bone in dark, tender strands. The marrow dissolving into the broth. Eaten slowly because there was more bone than meat, and every scrap had to be found. Oxtails now cost $9 to $12 a pound at the grocery store. The same cut that was throwaway food sits on restaurant menus at $35 a plate. The price changed. The nutrition never did. The collagen those women were eating for pennies is now sold as a supplement for $40 a month. Number 11. Chitterlings, cleaned and slow-cooked pig intestines simmered for hours with onion, bay leaf, vinegar, and red pepper flakes. The 5-gallon bucket from the butcher. The cleaning that took an hour or more at the kitchen sink. Cold water running over each piece, every trace of waste stripped by hand. The smell during cooking that announced itself to the whole block and halfway down the street. Some families opened every window in the house. Some did not care. Who knew? Simmered low until tender, the texture chewy and rich and unlike anything else on the table. Served with hot sauce and a piece of white bread to hold it. 30 cents a pound for what no one else would touch. Chitterlings were survival food. They came from the parts of the animal handed to enslaved people because the slaveholder refused to eat them. That origin is not something to look away from. It is proof that these women could feed a family on what was meant to be garbage and make them stronger than the people who threw it away. 5 items in, and every one of them came from the same place: the bottom shelf, the scrap bin, the part of the animal, and the part of the plant that nobody with money wanted. The cheapest food in the store was also the least processed food in the store. That was not a coincidence. That was the whole secret. The less a corporation touched it, the more a body could use it. These women did not read that in a book. They lived it every night at the table. And not everything on this list came from a store. Some of it came from the ground, right outside the back door. Number 10. Poke salad, wild pokeweed picked from the backyard or the ditch beside the road. Boiled 3 times, drained 3 times, then fried with fat back and scrambled with an egg. Picked in the spring before the stalks turned purple and the leaves got tough. Carried inside in a paper sack. Boiled in fresh water, drained. Boiled again in fresh water, drained again. Boiled a 3rd time because the plant was toxic if you did not cook it right, and every woman knew that without being told. The 3rd boil left the greens soft and mild, tasting somewhere between spinach and asparagus. Fried in a cast iron skillet with a piece of fatback. Scrambled with a farm egg until the whole thing came together in a smoky green tangle on the plate. Total cost: nothing. The yard grew it for free. A woman who could walk out her back door and come back with supper did not need a grocery store. She did not need a paycheck or permission from anyone. That kind of independence does not exist on any shelf in any aisle in America today. Number 9. Blackstrap molasses by the spoonful. 1 tablespoon of blackstrap molasses taken straight every morning or stirred into a glass of warm water. Brer Rabbit molasses in the tin can with the small handle on top. 20 cents at the grocery. Thick and black and bitter enough to make a child's face twist. 1 tablespoon held a significant amount of iron, nearly as much potassium as a banana, and a powerful dose of plant-based calcium. It poured slow from the can because it moved like tar in winter. The taste sat heavy on the back of the tongue for an hour after swallowing. Big Mama did not call it a supplement. She called it what you took every morning so your blood stayed right. The iron kept her daughters from getting tired in the afternoon. The calcium kept their teeth from going soft. No pill bottle, no monthly subscription, no influencer holding a jar up to the camera. Just a spoon and a can, and a woman who had been doing this since before the war. Number 8. Neck bones and rice. Pork neck bones simmered until the meat fell off in shreds, served over white rice with the cooking gravy poured on top. Neck bones from the scrap bin at the butcher counter, 20 cents a pound in 1961. Browned in the bottom of a heavy pot with diced onion, salt, and black pepper. Covered with water and left on a back burner for 3 hours while the house filled with the smell of pork and marrow. The gravy forming on its own from the collagen and rendered fat. No roux, no flour. Just time and heat doing what no shortcut could replicate. A mound of Riceland white rice on the plate. The gravy ladled over until the rice turned brown. A meal that cost a dime to prepare and held a grown woman until the next morning. Every cheap cut on this list asked for the same currency. Not money. Time. And these women had more patience than the food industry ever planned for. Number 7. Fried okra in cornmeal. Fresh okra sliced into rounds, tossed in cornmeal, and fried in a cast iron skillet with lard. Okra from the backyard garden or the produce stand at the edge of town. 5 cents a pound when it was in season and free when it came from your own dirt. Sliced thin with a paring knife, tossed in a bowl with cornmeal and a pinch of salt. Dropped into the hot skillet 1 handful at a time. The cornmeal crust going golden and crisp while the inside turned soft and sweet. The crunch when you bit down. No batter, no egg wash, no deep fryer plugged into the wall. Just cornmeal, a hot pan, and a woman who knew the exact second to flip every piece. The backyard garden was not a hobby. It was a supply chain that answered to no store, no truck driver, and no price increase. A woman who grew her own food did not need anyone's permission to eat well. Half this list is gone now, and we are not even halfway through. But there is something worth stopping to notice. There were no measuring cups in most of these kitchens. A handful of cornmeal, a pinch of salt, a coffee cup of flour, a pour of vinegar that stopped when it smelled right. These women measured everything by feel, and the portions came out right because they were scaled to the hand that made them. When food production moved from the kitchen to the factory, portions stopped being scaled to need and started being scaled to profit. That single shift changed the size of every plate in America. And nobody asked the women who got it right the first time what they thought about it. Number 6. Vinegar coleslaw. Shredded raw cabbage dressed with apple cider. Vinegar, a small pinch of sugar, salt, and black pepper. No mayonnaise. A head of green cabbage from the A&P. 8 cents, shredded with a kitchen knife on the cutting board. Not a mandolin, not a food processor. A knife and a hand that had done this 1,000 times. Tossed in a bowl with a pour of apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon of sugar, and salt. The crunch that held for 2 days in the icebox. Served alongside fried fish, barbecue, and everything in between. It was a digestive, a vegetable, and a palate cleanser in the same forkful. The vinegar was doing the real work, and nobody knew it was leveling out blood sugar with every single bite. Modern studies now confirm that apple cider vinegar before a meal reduces the blood sugar spike that follows. Researchers published those findings like a breakthrough. Big Mama already had the data. It was sitting in a bowl in the icebox next to the sweet tea. Number 5. Dried beans soaked overnight. pinto beans, navy beans, or butter beans. Soaked in cold water before bed and slow cooked the next day with a ham bone, onion, and bay leaf. A 1-pound bag of Camellia pintos. 12 cents, poured into a bowl of cold water and left on the counter overnight. By morning, the beans had swollen to twice their size and the water was cloudy. Drained, rinsed, and put in the pot with a ham bone saved from Sunday dinner. Cooked slow for 4 to 5 hours until the beans went creamy and the broth turned thick without adding a thing. The smell pulling every person in the house toward the kitchen an hour before the pot was ready. 1 pot feeding a family of 6 for 2 full days. 12 cents and a bone that was already paid for. 2 days of meals from a single bag and a single leftover. The math alone was a kind of brilliance that no cookbook ever taught and no degree could improve. Number 4. Sweet potatoes baked whole. Whole sweet potatoes set directly on the oven rack and baked until the skin caramelized. The inside collapsing into something closer to custard than vegetable. 5 cents a pound at the roadside stand in October. Washed under the faucet, pricked twice with a fork, and laid on the bare oven rack with nothing underneath. The juice that dripped and sizzled on the oven floor, filling the whole house with a smell like sugar and smoke. That smell meant fall had started whether the calendar said so or not. No brown sugar, no marshmallows, no canned pineapple, no butter, just the potato split open on the plate and eaten with a fork. Sweet enough to pass for dessert, but dense enough to serve as dinner. The sweet potato casserole killed the sweet potato. The moment somebody buried it under marshmallows and syrup, a vegetable became a sugar delivery system and lost every advantage it ever had. The original needed nothing added. The so-called improvement was the beginning of the end. Number 3. Smothered cabbage with smoked turkey neck. A whole head of cabbage cut into quarters and braised low in a covered pot. Smoked turkey necks, onion, and a splash of vinegar. Cabbage was the one vegetable that never went out of season and never cost more than a dime a head. Smoked turkey necks from the meat counter, 15 cents a pound. The cabbage laid in the pot with the meat and just enough water to steam without drowning it. The lid pressed tight, the leaves going from raw and stiff and pale to soft and dark and almost translucent, soaking up the smoke and salt from the bone, served in a bowl with the pot liquor pooled underneath. A meal that smelled like it came from a restaurant but cost less than a quarter. All it needed was a stove, a pot, and the willingness to leave it alone for 3 hours. Fast food replaced slow food. That is the whole story of what happened to the American diet. One sentence. That is all it takes. Stop for a moment and count the foods on this list. Collard broth for iron, molasses for calcium, sardines for omega-3, vinegar for blood sugar, beans for fiber, sweet potatoes for vitamins A and C, cabbage for digestion. Every condition the modern supplement industry now sells a pill for was already being addressed at the kitchen table 3 times a day. These women were not following a meal plan. They were writing prescriptions with a cast iron skillet and a wooden spoon. And not a single one of them needed a pharmacy to do it. Number 2. Bone broth from Sunday's chicken. The leftover carcass from Sunday's roast chicken put back in the pot by Monday morning. Simmered in water with celery, onion, and salt. Cooked until the broth turned gold and thick enough to coat the back of a spoon. Nothing was wasted. The chicken served for Sunday dinner. The bones back in the pot before the sun came up on Monday. Water just covering the frame. A stalk of celery. Half an onion. A teaspoon of salt. Simmered on a back burner for 5 to 6 hours while the house did its Monday work around it. The fat skimmed off the top and saved in a jar for cooking later in the week. the broth strained through cheesecloth into mason jars and stored in the icebox, used as the base for everything that followed. Soup on Tuesday, rice on Wednesday, gravy on Thursday. One chicken feeding a family twice without asking for a single cent more than what was already spent on Sunday. Bone broth now sells for $9 to $11 a carton at the grocery store. The global bone broth market is projected to reach almost $5 billion by 2028. What they are selling in those cartons is a Monday morning in 1963. That is the distance between what these women already knew and what was eventually sold back to us at 40 times the price. Number 1. A full plate at the kitchen table with no seconds until everyone was served. This one is not a recipe. It is a rule that made every other item on this list work. The table set before anyone was called in from the yard, plates turned right side up, forks on the left, a glass of water or sweet tea at every place. Big Mama served from the stove. She decided what went on every plate and how much. Children ate what was put in front of them. There was no negotiation, no substitution, and no short-order cooking. You ate what she made. The portion was the portion, and when the food was gone, it was gone. No one opened the icebox after supper without permission. No diet in the history of the American food industry has ever worked better. Not one. The most effective system was a woman who controlled the stove and decided the portions without asking anyone's opinion. She did not count a single calorie. She counted mouths. And every mouth at that table got exactly what it needed because the woman holding the serving spoon already knew. She knew before the plate hit the table. She knew before the prayer was said. She knew because her mother taught her, and her mother taught her, and it went back further than any of them could remember. 15 foods. Every one of them born in a kitchen with a screen door and a stove that took 10 minutes to heat. No nutritionist, no food scale, no grocery bill over $20 for the whole week. Just a woman who fed her family with what she had, wasted nothing, and never once needed to be told that what she was doing was enough. It was more than enough. It was everything.